was actually not that long ago when I first heard about the Pareto principle, or also known as the 80-20 principle. It was 2 years ago when I first started my own online fitness and nutrition coaching business. At the same time, I was putting in 30 hours per week in a job, and at the same time I was putting in a lot of time and effort in self-improvement activities like reading books, going to the gym, and listening to podcasts. It was a lot to combine everything, and I always had the feeling that I didn't accomplish anything at the end of the day because I was doing so much in a single day. I was really pushing myself to do actually way too much every single day. I tried hundreds of different methods to improve my productivity, but nothing ever really made sense or helped me in my own personal situation. The constant feeling of not feeling fulfilled, the constant feeling of feeling that I could do much more on a single day, the constant feeling of being unproductive in my eyes, it really began to weigh on me. It really started messing with my mental health. There was really a time when I was feeling depressed because I had no money in my bank, and I had to come up with money in the next couple of weeks or I would be completely broke. And at the same time, every single day I felt super unproductive. Something was holding me back mentally. I could feel it. I just knew I could do a lot more every single day. And that was the moment, like 2 years ago, was the moment when I for the very first time encountered the 80-20 or the Pareto principle. Since that moment, my productivity quadrupled, if not more. Every single day I have an accomplishment. I have a feeling of accomplishment because I make a to-do list the night before, and every single day I complete every single task I wrote down on my to-do list. So in this video, I want to help you achieve the same thing. I want to help you skyrocket your productivity so you can achieve the big goals you have set for yourself in your life. So what actually is the Pareto principle? Now, the Pareto principle states that 80% of results will come from 20% of the causes. So to make it a little bit clear, if you want to achieve anything, it doesn't matter what, it could be anything at all, 80% of your results will come forward of 20% of the effort you put into that task. The other 80% of the effort you put in will only achieve 20% of the other results. So most of the time, 80% of your effort will be just a waste of time. Now, to make it a bit more clear, I will give you some examples. We'll start with graphic design. Let's say you are a graphic designer for a really big company and you just got a new task with a deadline for next week. In this graphic design task, there will be things you can do that will generate much more results than other things. For example, if the task you need to do with a deadline of next week is designing a logo, you can start with just drawing out the logo on paper, and this will give you an outcome of, let's say, 100%. Because after you draw the logo on paper, you have a visual of the logo, you know how it will look like, and you can start implementing it on a digital version of your computer. But on the other hand, you can also spend hours and hours of searching for the perfect font to use in the logo, which is also important for the end result, but not as important as drawing the logo itself. So let's say searching for the perfect font and using the perfect font will only give you 50% of the outcome. So if you look at the total effort needed to create the full logo, first drawing out the logo on paper, then implementing it in the digital version will give you 80% of the results, but it will only cost you 20% of the effort. All the other things like searching for the perfect font, searching for the perfect color combination, deciding if it needs to be a vertical or a horizontal logo, those are all important things, but not as important as really creating the digital version of the logo. So all these other tasks will be 80% of your effort and will take 80% of your time, but it will only give you a return on outcome of 20% of the total results of the logo. Now, another example, let's say you are a college student and you need to study for an exam that will find place next week. You can spend hours and hours to make the perfect summary of the learning material you have to learn. Really looking for all kinds of different colors to make it as beautiful as possible, really organizing everything, using different styles of titles. Now, making a summary is important. You can learn faster by making a summary of your learning material, but spending hours by making it just as beautiful as possible, it won't help you learning the material itself. So spending hours making your summary as beautiful as possible is 80% of your effort. It will take 80% of your time. It will only give you 20% of your results in the case of learning for the material. The other 80% of your results will come from actually studying your learning material. So that's 20% of your effort. You can also implement this Pareto principle in muscle building and fitness. So let's say you are creating your own muscle building exercise program, and you are really deciding which exercise you have to put in to build as much muscle as possible. There will be exercises that give you 80% more results than all the other exercises, and you only have to do one of them every training. So let's say you do a total of 5 exercises per training. This one exercise out of 5 will be 20% of your effort, and it will give you 80% of the results. The exercises I'm talking about are compound movements. Now, compound movements are exercises where you use more than one muscle group in this single exercise, in this single movement. I'm talking about the military press, the bench press, squats, and deadlift. I put all of these exercises in my training program. I do one of those exercises in only one training session, and I do a total of 5 to 6 exercises per training session. So these compound movements will be only 20% of the effort in any training session I do, but they will generate 80% of the results I get. The other 20% of the results are coming from all the isolation exercises, those minor exercises, but these minor isolation exercises are 5 to 6 exercises in total per training session. So it will actually cost me 80% of my time and effort, but they only generate 20% of the effort. To make sure you really get the whole thing about the 80-20 principle, I have one more example for you. And this is in the area of your friends and your family. Now, especially if you are on a self-improvement journey, just like myself, there will be people in your life, in your circles of friends and family, that will be very useful for you, but a lot of the people will be just useless if it comes to self-improvement. 20% of your friends and family members will give you 80% of the results. And I'm talking about those 80% of the results will be useful tips, experiences they've gone through themselves where you really can learn from. But the other 80% of your friends and family members will just be useless because they don't know anything about self-improvement and they can't give you any valuable tips or experiences. So only 20% of your family and friends are useful, and only 20 you just only need to take advice, take tips and experiences from only 20% of your family members and friends, because only 20% of them have gone through self-improvement journeys themselves. I know it was a lot we talked about in this video, but I guarantee you, if you use this 80-20 or the Pareto principle correctly in your life, you can implement it in any area of your life. If you use it correctly, I guarantee you will see exponential results. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content I make sure to subscribe to help grow the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.